Today, I'm going to share two different programmatic directories that I've personally built. I'm going to be comparing them because one of them is an absolute failure and the other directory is doing pretty good. In the first few months of this second directory's launch, I really couldn't ask for better results in terms of traffic and rankings. So we're going to compare these two websites and talk about why one of them failed and one of them was pretty successful right off the bat. We're also going to try and understand from an SEO perspective what I did differently and how I could improve both of these types of websites. Now, ultimately, what I hope you take away from this is why rushing into a directory website build can lead to failure. To be completely fair, this failed directory was one that I spun up very, very quickly. It was really an experiment because in my mind, I have an idea of the most impactful things that you can do to a directory to make them rank. And I wanted to see if I just focused on those impactful areas and neglected a lot of the other smaller areas, if it would still be able to rank. Because sometimes you do see broken websites on Google and they're ranking pretty high for some reason. Before we dive into the websites, I have a very exciting announcement, which is the Ship Your Directory community is now live. Right now, this is a completely free community that you can come join if you are building a directory. So if you own directories or you're building directories or you haven't built directories but you want to learn how to start that journey, I highly recommend joining and taking advantage of some of the free resources that I created, including a 14-step roadmap that I personally take whenever I build out these website directories for myself. And I do share some details around what's coming in the future, including a Ship Your Directory Pro, which is going to be offering a little bit more tailored recommendations and personal advice into your personal projects. So hopefully I will catch you in there, but let's get back to this video. Okay, now I'm going to introduce the websites, but let me just be very, very clear. This failed website was a complete experiment. It was not a reflection of my best work. I just wanted to see what would happen if I threw something up, and that's my disclaimer for this video. In the red corner, weighing in at 7 monthly visitors, in the porta potty rental space, indexed for 1.5 months, and ranking for 67 keywords, we have porta potty match. And in the blue corner, we have weighing in at 8,200 monthly visitors, in the plasma donation space, indexed for 7 months and ranking for 7,800 keywords. It's discoverplasma.com. Okay, enough of that. Shout out to my UFC fans out there, and let's get this show on the road. I know people are going to ask, but I built both of these programmatic directories in WordPress using a plugin called Geodirectory. I am thinking about making a video on that potentially in the future. So if you want to see that, then let me know. So let's just take a raw look at these websites first, and I'll share what I was thinking when I was choosing this niche and building out this directory. Then later we'll do the comparison for listing pages, location pages, some SEO stuff, and a couple other small things. By the way, both of these were built on fresh domains, not aged domains or anything like that. And I didn't do any link building. So anything that you see and the performance and the traffic, it was all achieved by on-page SEO. That's something to take into consideration. So this is Porta Potty Match, and the idea here was to create a directory for people who were looking for different types of porta potty rentals. So here are a couple examples. You have your luxury porta potties, you have standard ones, you have ones that cater to people with disabilities, and I even threw portable sinks here. I do have cities here that are basically the top searched cities that I created pages for. So you can see the types of porta potties within Albuquerque in this example. But it works pretty simply. If I wanted to look for a luxury porta potty within Los Angeles, it should be looking for porta potties within the 50-mile radius of the city. So here you can see my map, and here are the listing pages that I have with the tags, a quick little description, phone number, and the address. So if I click into quick porta potties. Oops, this is bad. This is not supposed to be here. So strike one with the claim listings button, just hovering around. But this is the listing page. We have get directions, we have our phone number, quick little about us area, and we have a description for the types of porta potties that are offered by Quick Porta Potty Rental, Los Angeles. We have some photos here. These are some internal links, and are these even nearby or are they completely New York? Awesome. Right across the country. No worries. We can just take a flight over if we're from California. As you can tell, I left a lot of loose ends for this website, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. Very simple website, very much in its infancy in my opinion. I built it first to see if these static pages would rank. It gets 7 monthly visitors, so I think we all know how that turned out. And my thought process with choosing this niche was that I found porta potty rentals and I saw these keywords here that aren't super competitive from a keyword difficulty, and a lot of them have commercial intent or transactional intent. So let's take a look at some of the local keyword volume. And that's when I found things like porta potty rental Los Angeles, getting 300 monthly visitors with a keyword difficulty of 3, Chicago, Dallas, New York. The game plan here was to create a directory that I could eventually sell sponsored listings to all sorts of companies that offer porta potty rentals. I also looked into things like luxury porta potty, if we just type in luxury porta. So luxury porta potty is also relatively low keyword difficulty with not the most volume, but since sponsored listings was always the game plan, I didn't need a lot of volume to begin with. So then I was curious, well, how much are these businesses renting out these luxury porta potties for? So then I found websites like this, which is ranking number 1 for luxury porta potties Los Angeles. These are rough estimates, but it gave me an idea of how much money these portable restroom trailers could be renting for, because on the low end we see that it's $1,750, which I assume is for a day, like a full day of rental, and it can go all the way up to, over $2,000. So in my mind, I was thinking this has high average order value, has low competition from the keywords. There's decent amount of volume for local keywords like porta potty Dallas and luxury porta potty, and it just looked like a good opportunity. So I knew there was good competition, but I looked at some of the competition here and checked out their referring domains and their backlinks, and it didn't seem like it was insanely difficult for some of the cities. Like this one has a lot of referring domains and backlinks, but a lot of them don't, as you can tell from these numbers right here. Now this is my second website, Discover Plasma, which as we can see here is monetized through Mediavine Journey. You can find a plasma donation center near you. This is my lead magnet to collect emails. I had a plan to essentially create a newsletter and then get some sponsors or find an affiliate play that would make sense. But yeah, this is sort of the static pages here built out for specific cities. And then I think I have all the way down here an FAQ section. We have a blog, we have an about us, contact us, best plasma centers by city, which is essentially the same thing here. But the directory itself is very similar to the last one, which is, you type in your city near Los Angeles, and then you can go ahead and find local plasma centers that actually pay you to donate your plasma. So here is the map embed on the left, and we have our listing pages right here. If we click on one, we can see that it does have a photo of the actual plasma center, plasma donation center info. We have a map embed, store hours, and then we have this pretty large piece of text that I think is pretty helpful. It's pretty much everything you need to know if you're gonna go and donate plasma, because not everyone will get accepted. They do turn people away for different circumstances. We have some internal links for other plasma centers within the state, and we do have some actual other internal links that they are in the same state this time. And yeah, this is the listing page. It's pretty straightforward. Now my thought process with this was I found plasma donation, which is very high keyword difficulty at 78, as well as pretty high search volume. I know this would probably scare away most people, which I probably should have been a little bit more cautious. Now the reason I decided to build it was because I scrolled down and found keywords like this. Plasma donation Phoenix. This is getting 2,400 monthly visitors and a keyword difficulty of 4. And as you can see, there were a lot of the location city specific keywords that were low keyword difficulty and getting a lot of searches every single month. So this was the reason why I ended up giving it a try. I also read somewhere that healthcare companies are the largest buyers of market research data. So I had a plan to do that, and still possible, still viable, especially because when people go on my lead magnet to join the donor club, they have to fill out like a survey that takes 2 minutes, and there's like 300 to 500 people every month just organically joining this donor club, which is kind of insane when you think about it. So there are still opportunities, I just haven't really been spending time on this. Now let's compare some of the stats from Ahrefs. So here's Porta Potty Match. It's getting 7 monthly visitors, ranking for 67 keywords. When it launched in late October, it took a long time to get indexed, about 2 months for it to start indexing properly, which is the first time it's happened to me where something was was very slow to index. I don't know if it's because there was a core update and a spam update in December. In general, it's pretty rare for me to have 2 months where my entire website is not indexed. Let's look at the keywords that we're ranking for. I'm starting to rank for branded keywords for United Rentals Porta Potty. But remember, my target keyword was porta potty rentals and luxury porta potty rentals and things like that. So this already tells me that I need to go back onto my website and kind of adjust my on-page SEO to target the right keyword. Let's just see. Okay, so we do rank for porta potty rental Colorado Springs. We're ranked 71, which is not going to get any traffic, but I'm actually happy to see this because the page that is ranking for porta potty rental Colorado Springs is a static page that I went out and created. I just noticed that with certain location pages that are auto-generated by Programmatic Directory plugins, they don't rank super well, which is why you've noticed with both of these websites, I went out and created static pages so that I can better target certain keywords, just have a better location page, because I know historically from researching these directories that the location page is where most of the traffic goes anyways. It's technically on the right path. It's ranking for the keyword that I wanted to have, but the website as a whole, like the homepage, for example, the fact that it's not even ranking for porta potty rentals, even if it was on the 9th page or something like that, that means I have to go tweak some things and make some adjustments. Looking at Discover Plasma, 8,200 monthly visitors, 7,800 keywords. I think these backlinks were just accumulated just because the website's a little bit older. But let's talk about this graph here. I launched it early June, and then it was very, very quick to start attracting organic traffic. And I published like 2,000 pages all in the same day. And I was curious what would happen. You know, how would it index? How would it perform? I just remember being shocked at how quickly I was getting traffic. As we can see from this graph, it was almost instant that I started getting traffic. And here we can see that in the first month, let's see, towards the end of June, early July, I was already trending towards 1,000 plus monthly visitors. Just kind of kept growing from there. We do see a dip going into November, and then we do see this massive dip from January 17th all the way to today, which is February 5th. I'm not surprised at this very large decrease in traffic. I think the last change that I made was maybe around October-ish. There are some things that I didn't optimize and left unoptimized, so now it's finally catching up to me. To be completely fair, I think the reason why it was able to get so much traffic so quickly was because I bought the domain back in, I think, March of 2024 when I quit my job. It was just sitting there live. Like there was no content on it, or very little content, maybe a homepage. I was making improvements just live on the website. And because I had that going for me, I think I avoided the Google sandbox that people speak of, where for the first 2 to 3 months, it just takes time for Google to index your website. Let's look at the keywords here. I am ranking pretty well for a decent amount of keywords here with decent volume. So I am at the end of the first page, even in the middle of the first page for some of these keywords. But this is actually kind of shocking me. I didn't take a look at this before filming this, and I'm kind of shocked to see how many keywords I'm ranking on the first page for. Keep in mind with 0 backlinks. Let's take a quick look at top pages here. The thing with this website is that I noticed a massive need for informational blogs, which is very rare nowadays. I almost write 0 blogs these days because I feel like it's nearly pointless. But in this case, I saw a lot of volume for certain keywords such as how much does BioLife pay? And so I would write articles like that. So those pages are among some of the highest traffic pages. We also have, would you look at this? A static location page that I created. And this is the 3rd most visited page. So again, the static location pages seem to be working for me. I'm not saying that programmatic location pages can't work. I've seen them work beautifully and they get all the traffic, but this is just if you're running into an issue where you can't seem to rank for that desirable keyword that you researched and you found. This is getting into more advanced stuff, but I effectively have 2 location pages, one that I created here and one that came out of the box from the actual directory plugin that I used to build this website. And when you have 2 pages that have similar intent, that's typically a bad thing because you don't want 2 conflicting pages that are kind of targeting the same keyword. I guess what I'm saying is that when that situation does happen, Google chose this static page over that location page. I just let them both exist and Google decided to rank this and then be the page that actually deserves the traffic that it's currently getting. A little bit more advanced stuff, but just wanted to throw that out there as a argument for the value of a static page within a programmatic directory. So now that we know what the websites look like, we know my thought process when creating these directories, and we know the performance metrics that these are getting, let's compare where I believe the gaps exist with the successful website and the failed website. In my head, I know how little effort I put into the porta potty match one. It's a terrible reflection of my capabilities, which is sad, but it's good for a case study, I guess. I'm just gonna go through this homepage and I'm gonna shout out the things that I was thinking from an on-page SEO perspective. Find a plasma donation near you. So this is the header 1 here. We do go into a lead magnet, which you can see that I assigned this header text as paragraph text as to not confuse the hierarchy of my on-page SEO. And when Google crawls my website, it looks like a header, but it's actually the same weight as the text right here. This area, we make it easy to donate plasma. This was an H4. I think I assigned this as an H4 because it contained donate plasma, but it didn't have an actual keyword I was like laser focused on ranking for, so I just made it an H4. So these are all header 3s, which is interesting. I guess the reason I did that was because they contain the word plasma, and highest paying plasma center was definitely a keyword that I was trying to go for, as well as like new donor pay or return donor pay. So I think I was going for that. And then we go into the static pages here. So all of these cities, like Modesto, for example, I went into Ahrefs and saw that plasma donation Modesto was among the top 250 keywords that were getting the most traffic. So that's kind of how I chose these cities. If we look at the porta potty one, this is going to be quick. You know, we basically just put in our H1 here. We created 50 different static pages for the top 50 most searched cities for porta potties. But these buttons don't even work. They just bring you to the top of the website. So it's just really bad. And we have accessories for some reason as okay, at least it's a paragraph text. That's fine. This is a paragraph text too. So we just have an H1, which is porta potty rentals. And I'm assuming this is an H4 for what? I don't know what I was thinking here. There is not a lot going on here. Besides the header and the listing pages, I just added my internal linking strategy, which is going to all the other static location pages. I think I was just honestly curious if I could rank for anything using a static location page. But looking back at it, that was a flawed thought because I have so many loose ends. There's also just not a lot of text, right? These are all still lorem ipsums. When looking at Discover Plasma, like this is all good text that helps Google understand what you want to rank for and what you want to be known for. So the fact that I just put on a header 1 and just relied on these location pages is not enough. Even though I did do this thing right here, it's not relevant to someone who's coming to find porta potties in Baltimore, right? Why would they want to find other porta potties in different cities? The chances are they want to find porta potties in nearby cities. So that's kind of a big flaw there. Even with my blogs for Discover Plasma, you will see that I have internally linked all the other relevant blogs. So I'm not linking to a listing page on my blog page. I'm linking to other blogs that have high relevance and interest from someone who is reading this blog. So another thing is that you will notice with Discover Plasma, I went through the effort to find individual images, and I spent the time to compress all of the images under like 50 kilobytes. I assigned keywords to the alt text. So all of these images are completely different and they're tailored to the actual location. Whereas for porta potty rentals, you can see my listings are all the same generic photo. So that's a missed opportunity there. For the listing itself, I went pretty deep into the actual description. I spent a good amount of time filling all of this out. This is a good amount of text, and it's all tailored to this specific plasma center. Whereas for this, yeah, I mean, this was really just plugged into ChatGPT, and I just told them to write a description based on the enrichment features, like whether or not they offered luxury restroom trailers. I would use that as the basis to write a AI generated description for this listing. If you think about it from a user perspective, if someone was renting porta potties and about to drop $2,000 to get a luxury porta potty trailer, they would want to know more information than this. Just overall not very helpful, right? So this is another big problem here. So obviously there's a lot that I can do here to improve both of these websites, but I just wanted to reveal these in the name of transparency to hopefully give you an idea of what to do and what to avoid when you're building your own directory websites. As you can see, there are right ways and wrong ways to go about it, and sometimes putting in the effort to find an individual image and resize it, add alt text. These are the small things that end up contributing to better on-page SEO. And as you can see, especially with the Plasma website, you can get pretty far with just on-page SEO. It's not like I'm ranking for Plasma donation on the first page because that was a keyword difficulty of 78. But at one point I did rank, I think 11th or 12th for Plasma donation, which is why I was getting more traffic before. Another thing is that this isn't exactly a fair apples to apples comparison. The competition is very, very different with porta potties and plasma donation companies. I want to throw that out there because there are other reasons why porta potty rentals is more competitive. Ahrefs does not tell the full story of how competitive the niche is. I don't know what I'm going to do with these websites. I do have some future plans that I wrote out like a couple months back and I have not implemented them. I think in part it's because I just want to stack more display ad static directories for now. But yeah, until I figure it out, I'm just going to leave the Plasma one on Mediavine Journey and just let that do its thing. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was interesting to you. And just a reminder, if you are looking to join a community of like-minded directory builders, then please go ahead and join Ship Your Directory. I will include a link in the description below, and I hope that I can see you in there. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate all of your support, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.